Welcome, everybody. Hey, my name is Michael Hellickson. I'm one of the coaches here at Club Wealth Coaching and Consulting. I'm super excited to have with me today my co-hosts, the hostess with the mostest, Cherie Benjamin, who's also one of our Club Wealth coaches, of course. And Cherie, as most of you know, just 3 years ago, Cherie was at one assistant, doing like 35 deals in her best year, and this last year did well over 400 transactions, freaking crushing it. I think she's got like 40 people on her team, maybe 400, I'm not sure. She's like her own like it's crazy. But anyway, so we got Cherie here, and she's also in two different markets, right? She's in Vegas and she's in Atlanta, and so she's just crushing it. Then we've got Brian Curtis and let me tell you, Brian is also, he's a tier 4 coach, tier 5 coach. I can't remember. Tier 4 coach. 5 coach, tier 5 coach. So Brian freaking crushes it too. And this guy, man, let me tell you, you want to talk about the guy that crosses the T's, dots the I's, gets the stuff done right, understands the systems. It's Brian, man. This guy is also doing well over 300 transactions a year, has a great team, and just absolutely crushes it. So then we've also got Jeff Pfitzer. Jeff is with us today. He's on the, for the first time, and as long as I can remember, maybe the first time ever, we've had a loan officer on the show, and that's Jeff. And, we're excited to have him. He brings a different perspective. Once in a while, we're working on mixing it up a little bit at Club Wealth TV. We want to start bringing people in from different industries. Obviously the loan industry is very tied to the real estate industry, but we're also going to be pulling from outside of that because we want to help infuse some ideas that maybe aren't circulating in the real estate industry as much as they could be. And hopefully you guys will learn some stuff from this. I'm sure you will. Jeff crushes it, does a really good job, and has a lot of good stuff to share. So today we're going to be talking about becoming omnipresent in your market. And we're going to be talking about specifically getting uncomfortable and standing out in your business by using video, which is the hot topic right now. Everybody's doing video. Setting up the 4 F's of pages on Facebook. Can't wait to hear what those are. At least it's not the 4-letter F's. That's good news. Capture. And by the way, we don't cuss on the show, Jeff. I forgot to mention that ahead of time, but just so you know, this is a PG show. Just so. Then we've also got capturing millions of views by creating influence through inspiration and leveraging your connections so people get to know you. Remember, people need to know, like, and trust you to do business with you. And so, Jeff, with that, take it away. Introduce yourself and tell us what we need to know.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess we'll get started by saying we're not going to talk about mortgages because that is very, very boring. And that is kind of a segue into this conversation, which is how to become omnipresent in your market just by leveraging really social media and more specifically Facebook. And so we do a lot. So yes, I'm in the mortgage business. I'm a leader in the mortgage business, but I don't actively originate anymore. So what I pretty much focus on is all business development, and it's all about attraction. So it's either attracting realtors to our loan officers, or it's attracting loan officers to my group, or it's attracting customers to us as well. And so we just try to figure out ways to do that by being authentic and being, humanizing and not talking about business. So that's one of the things I preach. That's one of the things I teach, which is stop talking about the boring topics that only apply to this many people in your SOI, and actually give them engaging content that they would be interested in and makes them want to watch what you're putting out.
That's huge. You're right. Because people get bored with the same old, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, hey, check it out. Interest rates are good. And here's, you're going to need this down payment. And look at what FHA just came out with. Isn't that cool? And there's a new VA product. I mean, come on. Like, at some point, people are like, dude, can I just send my people to you and let you worry about all that? Like, I really don't want to be involved in that. Brian, were you about to say something?
Even when you're taking, go ahead, Brian.
So I was just gonna ask a question. So, video is one of those things that scares the heck out of people. I can't even tell you the number of conversations I've had with, I don't look good on video, I don't sound good on video, and my response is usually, by the way, that's what you look like and that's what you sound like. So keep that in mind as you move forward. But, I guess I'm just looking for some simple advice, because the people watching the show run everywhere from someone who's never done a transaction all the way up to people who are doing 500 transactions a year. And even some of the people doing 500 transactions a year probably aren't using video because they're scared of it. That being said, let's
Cherie is a great example of that.
Let's dip our toe in, for the lack of a better way to do it, and just give some people some real simple, this is what you do. I promise you, you won't die. There won't be that much pain. You know, what are the very simple things that for the guy who just doesn't even know where to start? So.
Sure, and it's funny you mentioned that too. So right now I'm actually in the middle of posting what I call the 12 days of video. I created a series, and I'm only on day 4 right now, tip number 2, and it's very basic executable ideas to integrate into your business. So there's a lot of really good industry professionals that are putting out amazing content, engaging and entertaining, and they're using video editors and they're doing all this crazy stuff. But I specifically am putting out content that says, you know, it's not that difficult, and so here's some ideas. And so 2 of the ones I put out so far were, first of all, let's talk about the equipment that you need. So you don't need all this fancy equipment. It's nice, but you don't need it. And I do a lot of videos. So I do a lot of my own stuff. I do stuff that I hire an editor for. I do some green screen, and I'll go live. But for the most part, I use this guy. It's about a $12 tripod that holds my cell phone on Amazon. You use your cell phone is my camera, and I'll use a lavalier microphone in some cases. A lot of cases I don't, because it's just not convenient. So that's all you need. So literally you can spend less than $30 and have all the equipment you need, not including your phone, but you already have a phone, so you're good there.
I got to stop you right there. I don't want you to stop on this particular piece of it, because the reality is, you're totally right. So many people think, you know, I keep hearing people, oh, I got to hire an in-house video guy, and I got to have it professionally edited, and I got to get makeup on, and I got to blah, blah, blah. Dude, I got to tell you, like, there's so many people, like I look at like Kyle Whistle, for example. Here's a guy, you know, a lot of us in the industry know Kyle. I think Brian Street, I'm pretty sure you guys know him too. But here's a guy who in San Diego did 100, you know, he's doing 500 transactions a year between him and his team and his brokerage, freaking crushing it. And he's the same thought as you are. Grab your freaking phone. Use your phone. You know, but the problem, though, is that because we see all this great content certain people put out, we think that we have to rise to that level to be effective. And the fact of the matter is, Cherie, let me ask you this. You just recently did your very first live video ever. That was just, and I'm not talking about Clubwell TV. I'm talking, you know, unscripted, just Cherie going live. Did you use any special equipment?
Yeah.
You did? What'd you use?
Yeah, I'll show you. Hold on.
Did you really?
Yeah, I used this little sucker right here. I think
what in the world is that?
It's like a selfie stick holder. I got it as a tip. I did. You're like, you thought I was going to say no. Ooh.
Okay. You had a selfie stick holder. What was your camera? And
it gives you like a little bit of a light, because despite what you think, Michael Hellickson, us women, we are gonna fix this face before we go on video. I don't know what's wrong with you.
That's funny. That's hilarious. So literally, your little selfie stick there, it's got a light and a place to hold your phone. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was like $12 on Amazon.
Okay. All right. So do you have it
fancy?
That's my point. Okay, but you used your cell phone.
But yeah, and this was like my courage builder. I will say that it was pretty much nothing but a courage builder for me. And Brittany Howard actually told me about it, and I clipped it on, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And I did it. And here's the crazy thing. I looked at it. Jesse sent me a screenshot of it yesterday, because I don't pay attention to it. And he's like, woman, you got like 16, almost 1,700 views on this sucker. And I'm like,
that's right.
Did? Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know what that means, but that's kind of cool. So
it's good. Those are good numbers. And you know, you think about it, you had 1,700 people that experienced you, that experienced your brand, that got to know you a little better, and you spent $12, right? I mean,
$12 and a whole lot of coconuts, because I could not, it took a lot for me to get to doing it. So
that's hilarious.
But I'm going to say this. So speaking of Jeff, I do see some of Jeff's daily tips. I think I saw the one this morning of doing it in the car. Yeah. So I see a lot of agents that do things in the car. I think that, you know, being authentic to yourself and not being super scripted. I think I can speak to a lot of things that is a fear that agents have about being in front of the camera. So I want you to keep going and keep talking about, you know, some of those tips, because like Brian said, we've got people who do very little, I mean, no transactions, to people who are doing probably more than 500 that listen to this. So talk to us. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so to that point, this morning's was in the car. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of car videos, but one of the tips I gave in one of my first videos was it's really important to content, of course, is the king. You got to have good content. But two, you need to change up the background. A lot of people are guilty of when they do videos, it's always this. I'm always in my office. But if you really want to catch attention and kind of pique their curiosity, it's very interesting to do videos from all over the place. And it actually be not to plug myself, but I really got creative with these 10 videos. So one of them's really off the wall, and a couple other ones are just some ideas, because frankly, you got to leverage whatever you've got. And so it's in fact, one of them, I'll even tell you, it's if you have a puppy dog or you have a baby. Well, I have a new baby. You think I'm not going to leverage the hell out of that? Because everybody wants to see that. So it's not going to be anything business related, but it's going to get me a ton of views. It's going to keep me top of mind, and everybody wants to see my baby. So she's going to be famous for a good year or two, as long as she's cute.
Well, I got to jump on that. Because you're gonna, if I were you, I'd be leveraging the heck out of that kid now too. Because guess what? She's gonna be leveraging you for the rest of her life.
Good point.
Seriously, man. I mean, holy cow! Those little bloodsuckers. I mean, cuties. They will bleed you dry, man. Holy
the blood-sucking cuties.
You're right, and I have all those too.
She's got a bunch of boys running around. Those things cost you any money every year? It's about.
Let's not talk about it.
That's what I'm saying, right? So is it okay to have them help support the cause? I think it's totally reasonable. So that's awesome. So okay, so you're leveraging your cutie pie.
Absolutely. Well, and so again, that's was kind of getting a little bit off topic, but again, the 10 tips are really just executable ideas to actually use in your business. So the first one was thank yous. Everybody's sending thank yous. You're already doing it, whether via email, through automation, you're sending handwritten cards. Why not do it via video? You're going to differentiate yourself. And then today's was cold prospecting. Most people should be cold prospecting. Why not integrate video into that? You're going to stand out to these leads. And so that's what the whole premise of this 12 days of video is just to give people ideas. And I'll be honest, I repurposed the content from BombBomb. Because we use BombBomb, which is a fantastic tool. I know there's other ones out there, but it's integrated into my email. All I have to do is click a button, and bam, I'm sending a video email. And it's so useful. Transactional updates, you name it. There's so many things you could be doing with video.
I got this one thing that just popped into my head. I don't know if you could just, hey, Trevor, put a little bubble up on this. So about 2 years ago, I remember Hellickson and Curtis saying, video text your prospects.
Still say it.
Say it again. Still say it. Yeah, still say it. But here's the thing. So the people who are listening, I want you to hear this, because I've said it so many times. I've even said, hey, ladies, just go ahead and don't quite say their name, but just make yourself look all pretty, because everyone's worried about what their hair looks like and all of that. And do one good time and then send it out each time. And now you have someone from the mortgage industry, which is related, but you have someone who's saying, hey, why aren't you doing this? And I'm just going, any of my team members that are listening, I've been telling you this for 2 years, but listen to this guy, okay? He's so right.
Absolutely.
It's funny to me. It seems like, and Sheree, I think you're hitting the nail on the head, because we have been talking about this for 2 years, and it seems like there's a lot of buzz in the industry all of a sudden about some of these, what we have for the last couple of years considered very basic principles. And now all of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, it's this big epiphany. I've got a video text. It's like, oh my gosh, like seriously. And what's really crazy is they still won't do it.
They still won't do it. Jeff, it doesn't matter that you're on, that you're even telling them how to do this at an even higher level, which is what I really love, So take it from just doing video, send it to social media too. Like this is great. But I challenge someone to do it who hasn't done it yet. I'm going to challenge you to do it. You've got 4 people on here that's letting you know that it works.
I'm gonna specifically challenge someone. I'm not gonna say their name, but I'm gonna.
You can't challenge them if you're not gonna say their name, Alex.
Well, I'm gonna specifically challenge someone very discreetly, but I just don't want to share their name because I don't want Brandon to be mad at me. But what I want to do is I'm gonna challenge this person who did 500 transactions this year and is not currently broadcasting their team meetings on Facebook Live. which they should be. And so I'm going to remind him that, hey, on our next coaching call, it's time, man. We got to get, for those of you that haven't done this yet, like if you're doing team meetings and you're educating your team, right, where you're literally doing training for your team or for your brokerage, broadcast it on Facebook. Like, go Facebook Live. You'll be surprised who will watch it and what they will get out of it and how appreciative they will be. You want to talk about developing rapport with your audience, getting them to know, like, and trust you. When you are doing a training, they get to see who you really are. And, you know, they get to connect with you at a level that they can't with just a static post.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's you bring up a good point as well, is because, and Sheree, you said it, where your first video got 1,700 views. That's like clockwork. Every time I tell somebody, do your first video, you will have between 1,000 and 2,000 views. It's like it hits every single time. Now, here's what I will tell you is going to happen next. The more videos you put out, that number is going to decrease. But don't let that discourage you, because every once in a while I pop with 1,000 plus, and every once in a while I have a dud that's 120. It just happens. And the reality is most of the views are like 3 seconds.
You know, Sheree, I think you're right about that. I mean, think about that. She just said, I don't feel like 120 is a dud for me. And you're right. It's not, because here's the reality. 120 people interacted with you, got to see you, got to get to know you, and got to hear your message. And 120 people, is that easier than picking up the phone and calling people one at a time? I mean, holy cow. You want to talk about broadcast media? Facebook has allowed all of us to have our own TV show, right? I mean, it really has. It's allowed all of us to develop our own audience. And what's really cool about that is the people that resonate with you will show up. The ones that won't. And that's okay, because there's going to be people that don't resonate with you, that you don't need in your life, that you don't need in your business, that aren't the right fit for you and you for them. And that's totally okay. Yeah, I mean, it's, Sheree, you attract different people than I do. And Brian, you attract different people than Sheree and I both do. And like, that's good, right? Like, we're all different. But the key is, as we put out that that authenticity, people that do come into our lives and our businesses are the right fit for us. And we have better relationships, better transactions, better everything with these folks.
Well, I think that the 120 doesn't sound like a dud to me, because I'm at the beginning stages of it. So someone who's consistently doing this and is perfecting it. To Jeff, it's like, that's a dud, so I don't want to knock down what your comment was. But that's to okay. Little old baby me, with still milk breath, 120 is like, oh, that would have been cool. To you, you're like, dang it, I suck. So it's okay.
Brian, I think you caught that too. Did you just say milk breath? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay.
We might be up to PG-13. So comment, and this is an interesting thing. So we've been talking about video, talking about video in general, but I'll tell a quick story. An agent who was on my team who was a young lady, probably 25, 26 years old. It's not legal to ask, so I'm not 100% sure, but definitely younger than me. But she was the same thing. All the objections that we all hear over and over and over again. And so I don't know how I did it, dumb luck. The moon was in the right position, but I convinced her to finally send out a video text. And she sent out 57 video texts to 57 people. The same one, by the way. It wasn't like she said, hey, Sheree, hey, Michael, hey, Jeff, hey, Brian. It wasn't that. It was, hey, this is so-and-so, because I don't want to say her name. And, I'm just wondering if you're interested in looking at some houses this weekend. We have great inventory, and, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Let me know. She got 3 people to say, hey, I want to go look at some houses. So, and by the way, that took her a grand total. After she recorded the message, she didn't tell us how many times she did that. So that might have been 3 hours. I don't know. But honestly, it probably could have been 10 minutes. And it only took her 5 minutes to send out 57 video texts. Just cut, paste, cut, paste, cut, paste. So it's not like this is something where it's a 4-hour project every single day. What we did is we made a list of 7 video texts that I told every single agent on my team to record. One was for Zillow, one was for Trulia, one was for Realtor.com, one was for our website, one was a drop the ball script, and one was, I don't even remember. But my point is that sit down for an hour, record all of these, and now I have them forever. It's evergreen content. And, it's not the same as evergreen on the internet, but my point is that I'm having a bad week. I can't get a hold of anybody. What do I got to do? Go into my phone, click, 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 bam, send it out. So, it creates a huge amount of leverage for you in your business in so many ways.
I
Hey,
think
Brian, I'd love to hear all 7 of those. I know you don't remember off the top of your head, but I think that would be really cool if you could, maybe not during the call today, or if so possible, but if not, if you could come back with what were those 7 that you feel like, hey, everybody should have. I think this would make a great blog post. I think we should do a nice blog post with a video on exactly how to do video and include those 7 key text message videos that every agent should have recorded on their phone.
Yeah, that's key. That's a big thing. We turned that into a challenge. We didn't do 7. So I really like the 7. I actually wrote myself a note that said, get this video, 7 video text messages from Brian.
That's what I just did.
But yeah, so, I chose a day that I knew everybody's hair would look nice. There was someone that all the ladies thought was kind of cute that was coming to the office to speak. Anyways, so, and then we had them all do it at one time. And we made it as a challenge to see who could set the most amount of appointments just out of that. And the highest number of appointments we got from video text messages was 6. That was our highest number of appointments we got. And it did. So we did it all together, and it took them literally, like you said, took like 5 minutes. Once everyone was fine with it, it generally only took like 3 takes for everybody to get comfortable with that. And we sent it out, and the highest number that we got was 6. But the best thing is that it's already saved in their phone. It's already saved in their phone. We made sure that you weren't doing it, outside, so someone can tell if it was day or if it was night, or if it was raining or if it wasn't, or anything like that. Do it inside. We did another one where they were walking to the car, so they have different ones based upon what was going on. If it was, hey, I'm on my way to an appointment, saw that you guys just submitted to check out a house, and I just tried to give you a call, just missed you, please give me a text back. Let me know when is a good time for you guys to see it. Something to that nature. I'm paraphrasing right now. But yeah. So I really want to, because I know we only have like 20 some odd minutes left. I really want to go into those 4 F's, Jeff. I want you to start talking about that.
Sure. So shifting away from the video conversation, this is basically, this is something I learned from some masterminding with some high-level marketing people. And it was really about, creating a larger influence and kind of pocketing your SOIs, because everybody's into different things. So the 4 F's are food, fashion, fitness, and family. And by those 4 F's, what I'm talking about is creating a page that's specific to that. So let me digress for a second and say that I'll tell you what kind of pages I have. So I have my personal page, which I try to keep my personal page personal, right? People tag me in things all the time, but for the most part, it's me, it's my family, it's what I'm doing, it's my vacations, it's things like that. And occasionally I'll share some of my business posts to it if they have some relevance. Everybody has a business page, which we all know business pages are very, very hard to get engagement because it's pay to play for the most part. The primary reason you have a business page is to do targeting, right? So, and that's all business. I don't spend a ton of time in there. A lot of it's automated, and I use it to pay to play. But then I have 2 other pages, which leads into the 4 F's. One of them, I'll do the F's last, but one of them is a business page, but it's not a business, it's a group page that is all about content and marketing for real estate and mortgage professionals. So all I'm doing is primarily repurposing content or putting out my own content, but it's a private group, a group where you have to answer 3 questions to get in, where we only want people who are relevant to the content. And so we just share a lot of stuff. That's the attraction piece. That's where we're putting out a lot of content that's specific to the industry, but not like 10 tips to sell your home or what are interest rates doing. Not that kind of content, like content on how to improve yourself. Like we'll share videos from like Billie Jean is marketing and things like that. Fun stuff and ideas that are working basically. And then the other page, which is kind of a personal, which is the 4 F's, is you find something you're passionate about. What is your hobby? Everybody typically can find something within those 4 subsets. So food, fashion, fitness, or family, right? And I chose fitness. This all started, the quick story is I was at a mastermind. Jesse Itzler was speaking. If you don't know who that is, he's a very, very famous guy, very, very successful. He's married to Sarah Blakely, who's the founder of Spanx. They're both billionaires in there, I think, individually. And so he's kind of known for doing crazy fitness goals, right? And so I was at this mastermind. It was a small group. It was like 30 people in the room. So I knew I was going to have the opportunity to do some Q&A. this kind of leads into the leveraging piece. And I was literally sitting there that day thinking, man, what the heck can I do? So I read his book. I'd already seen him speak, and I read his book, Living with a SEAL. And so when I had a chance to raise my hand, I said, hey, Jesse, if you're here for a couple of days, would you go for a run with me? Because I knew he's the 100-mile man. He does all this stuff. And saving you the conversation in between, eventually he said yes. And we met the next morning. We went for a 6-mile walk. We actually went for a walk, but I got to spend 2.5 hours with a billionaire, super successful guy. And it's been life-changing for me, because what happened was I said, I watch people like you, and I know I want to create something that's going to create media. I want to do something that's going to inspire people. So I had this idea in my head, which is to run at least like a mile. I think my goal was at least 2 miles every day for 365 days. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm a runner. And he said, no, that's not good enough. Here's what I suggest you do. Why don't you run the number of miles in a year that is that year? So in this case, it was 2018 and 2018. So I quickly processed it, and I was like, crap, that's like 6.5 miles a day. But I just got challenged. So yeah, I'm going to do it. And so I created a Facebook page to it. I didn't really promote the heck out of it for a while. I mean, I did. I invited friends. There was maybe 200 people in the group, and I just kind of let the year play on. So this is last year. And it was a struggle. I won't get too much into that because it's somewhat boring. But it was once I got to October of last year, and I knew I was going to hit the goal, I started ramping it up. And people started engaging, and they were like, so side piece to this is anytime I go to a networking event or anytime I go anywhere, everybody, it's easy for me because they're like, oh, hey, Jeff, how's your miles going? So it was never that awkward introduction. It's always, I've created something that now I'm known for. And so one thing led to another, and come into December, I had people planning my last run. I had news media outlets that wanted to do a news story on me, and they did 2 news stories. Actually, they did one leading up, and they did one once I completed the goal. And it just created tons of, really, it grew my SOI. I created a ton of influence through inspiration, and people just, they sucked it up. And now lead into this year, I changed that page to Crush Your Goals 2019. And now I have another goal this year. I had to do something else crazy. And but all these people are now on that page, and that page is very specific to fitness. But I go live all the time, and I put out posts all the time, and I share my data because I track my goal religiously, which is I'm teaching people like, hey, if you want to lose weight, whatever it is you do, track it religiously, and so it's a separate page. There's probably 400 people on that page, so it's not massive. I'd like to grow it to big numbers. But it's fun. And those people who are on that page probably don't follow my professional page, but man, they are loyal as heck to me. They love what I do. I inspire them. And naturally, what are they going to think of when they need to buy a house? They're going to think of me. I'm the professional. I'm the expert. And they're going to probably come to me for a realtor too, which is perfect for me. So it's just one of those things. And I've seen people do, obviously fashion is very popular. If you have kids, if you have teenage daughters, you know that they're very much into teaching them how to do their makeup. That's huge. People have become famous by doing that. And obviously just any type of fashion. And then food. I've seen people, they're health conscious. Everybody wants to be healthy. We all know we need to be healthy. And I've seen people do videos on meal prepping, and they just share every week. Here's a new recipe, how to be healthy. And here's how I meal prep. I even find myself getting sucked into those videos because I live a clean, healthy life, and I want to see that stuff. And you'd be surprised at how much you can actually grow your influence just by doing something that you're already doing, you're passionate about, but creating a page to it and then sharing. Just share your life. That's it. And it's not rocket science, but it's powerful.
So I may not be Jesse Isler, but I got to tell you, I think that what you ought to do for 2019, because was that 2018's goal? Okay, so for 2019, I think you should swim 2019 miles in 2019. I would follow that page.
That's a goal already. You got to put them up for 2020. You got to give them ideas.
2020. There you go. So maybe you could do that for 2020. Tag me in it because I'll follow that all day.
That's funny. Well, and since you mentioned it, so my goal this year is 40K, 40K, 20K. It's 40K push-ups, 40,000 sit-ups, and 20,000 pull-ups. And I came up with it because I was going to do 100 a day of push-ups and sit-ups and 50 a day of pull-ups. but then those numbers were goofy. If you multiply that times so I rounded up because that's what Jesse would tell me to do, and just do something a little crazier. And honestly, it's not the physical piece of it. We're totally digressing here, but it's not the physical, it's the discipline. It's a mental discipline to do this every day or almost every day when I don't want to. When I don't want to get up at 5 a.m., when I don't want to, it's 10 o'clock at night and I didn't have a chance that day, I got to go out in the gym and work out. And then I use that then, so as leaders, you guys are probably team leads, you have teams. I use that with my team and say, listen, guys, if I can do something like this, it's not so hard to pick up the phone and call 10 prospects a day. You know, you can do anything that you want to do. It's like Jesse says in his book, when your body says you're done, you've actually got 60% left in the tank. That's actually a scientific fact that the Marines have stated. And you've got more left in your tank, but it's all right here. And so I apply that. That was the whole premise behind it originally, was I need to do something crazy to inspire my people to be better in their business. But I want to do something physically, because everybody always says professionally, when you're a leader in your space is mortgage or real estate, oh, you have an advantage. You're a manager. You have an advantage over me. So I said, fine, I'm going to go do something crazy that you can't say I have an advantage over you. I have 2 legs just like you do. So get out and do it. And it's been very, very powerful. And it's really taking my influence to astronomical levels. We say the title is this is become omnipresent in your market, which I've done. Now I am the expert on video. I'm the expert on social media influence. I have no special training. I just did it. Like you guys said, I started doing video 2 years ago. People looked at me like I was crazy. They thought the videos I was doing, which I tend to have fun with them, were crazy. I don't like that. 2 years later, now it took 2 years. They're now starting to say, I like this guy. But they were criticizing me 2 years ago. So it takes the same thing. It's discipline. You got to push through it. And you got to ignore the naysayers. You got to ignore the haters because they're always going to come out.
I am so glad you brought that up because, and Brian and Sheree, feel free to jump in at any time, but I'm so glad you brought the haters up because the reality is the more you do anything, the more you're going to have haters. Mm-hmm. And what's really crazy is sometimes they're the people that you thought were your friends, right? And I don't know that they always mean it in a bad way. Like they can hate you, they could be haters and think they're doing you a favor a lot of times. So, but it's hard, it's really hard for people to kind of take a step back and say, you know what, I have to turn a blind eye to that. Now, that's not to say that we don't listen to the people that really do love us and that really do have our best interests at heart and that really do want to give us advice that they really do believe will be good for us. But those people that, so those people we got to listen to, right? Like we got to make sure we're listening to the stuff we don't want to hear sometimes. But the people that are just plain haters, man, you got to block them out and just do your thing. You got to do who you are, do you, right? And the people that resonate with that will be there for you, and the ones that don't won't, and that's okay. And sometimes they'll move in and out of your life, and that's okay too.
Absolutely. And you brought up something, or it sparked something in my mind too, which is everybody. Brian, you said it earlier. Everybody says they don't like how they look, they don't like how they sound. But another objection I hear a lot of is, why does anybody want to hear what I have to say? And I struggled with that too. I mean, when I first started doing video, I'm not a natural. My parents aren't actors. I just forced myself to do it. I used to get nervous as hell. I still get nervous sometimes. But, you like you said, Sheree, you get used to it. You get better at it the more you do of it. And frankly, even though I do lives, but I do a lot of my own stuff. I edit my own stuff in iMovie on my phone. I'm intentionally imperfect many times because that's what people need. That's what they want. So don't overthink when you're doing those 7 videos via tech. Don't overthink it. Because I hear it all the time. People will do automation. They intentionally misspell words. So you should intentionally be real, intentionally be yourself. Don't worry about the uhs. Don't have 10 million of them, but don't worry about it. Just put yourself out there. That's what is going to resonate with people. And if they want to, if they don't want to do business with you because you don't have the perfect video, you don't want to do business with them anyway. That's the reality.
Sheree, go ahead.
That's the thing for me. So for me, it's a well, who wants to listen to me talk? Mm-hmm. And I'll hear people say, are you crazy? And I'm going, yeah, but really, who wants to listen to me talk? And what my mind block is that I'm just going to be myself. Like, people don't realize that I'm naturally super goofy. Like, it's
like at the end of your video, which was awesome, by the way.
Well, that
seriously,
would be that was comfort zone. Like
But I love that.
I'm super goofy naturally. I am. My dad calls me Goof Troop, if you guys ever remember. Well, those of us in this call are old enough to know what Goof Troop is. But he calls me, my nickname is Goof Troop because that is me. I'm super, super goofy. But there is something that I think, and I'm on a little bit different of a journey right now where it's, this is a little bit off topic, but I think it helps with everyone. So I read this book called How to Understand the Mind. And I read it for myself. It's actually written by a Buddhist monk. It's sitting right here, but that's what it's called. It's called How to Understand the Mind. It breaks down the different parts of our brain and our mind and how we have control over this. And that is really, it wasn't necessarily that someone challenged me. That challenge just made me say, oh yes, this is something that I need to do. But understanding how my mind works and how my mind is processing this and how other people's mind works is what allowed me to get over that fear that I had that's there about the fact that I'm just super goofy. And who wants to look at Cherie being super goofy? I mean, I am. I'm the mom who shows up with the colored wigs and the beads and everything to my kids' games. Like, and I throw stuff at the crowd. Like, you would not imagine that that's me, but that is really who I am. And there's a lot of people who that's them. And Jeff, I mean, it's great for you to say that, like, give yourself permission to be authentically you, and still, you can still invite people in. And if they don't like it and they hate it, then so what? Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Yeah, worry about the ones that do like you.
Yeah.
Say that again.
I said, worry about the ones that do like you, right? I mean,
that's right.
That's just it. Like, your people will find you and you will find them. And that's okay. I mean, it's, and you know what's, here's another thing. Okay, this is totally off topic, but I think it's an important philosophical point. I really believe that even though, like, you'll find your people, right? And your people might also have relationships with people that aren't your people. And that's okay, right? It's like when you were a kid in school, remember back in the day, we always think, oh, well, all my friends can only be my friend. No, they can't only be your friends. They can be friends with everybody else too. The fact of the matter is, enjoy them while they're in our life, right? And be grateful for them while they're here, and honor them while they're here, and do everything you can to give of them the best of you. Now, I got to share this with you, and you were talking about both Cherie and Jeff about, why would somebody want to listen to me? And I had a conversation with one of our coaches, Brittany Howard, here the other day. Actually, it was last night. And Brittany was sharing with me, that, Michael, you guys are killing it on social media and you're not telling anybody how. I said, what are you talking about? She's like, okay, so as I'm sitting here on this conversation, I'll bet if I turn, if I look at my phone, if I pull up, Facebook or anything, Instagram, anything, I'll bet I'll see a Club Wealth ad. I said, okay, really, maybe. And she's like, look, in fact, I'm going to open up Words with Friends. And she's like, yep, there you are. She's like, I'm going to open up Scrabble. Oh, there you are. It's like, and I don't realize this is going on, right? Like, I've had it happen a couple times, but I don't really realize it's going on. And she's like, Michael, you are robbing people in Club Wealth by not showing them how you're doing that. Just because you're a coach doesn't mean that it's not applicable in our business, and you need to share that. You need to teach that. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, how have I gone 2 years without figuring this out myself? Like, how dumb am I, right? But the reality is, she's right? Like, there's things that you guys are doing out there that you don't realize it, but it's an epiphany for somebody. Right? What for you is just day to day, this is just what I do. For someone else is reaching for the stars. And you owe it to those people to share that with them. You owe it to those people to give the best that you have to them. So, Jeff, we've only got a few minutes left, and I don't want to rob you of the opportunity to share more with us. So we've literally got a couple minutes left. Tell us in closing here, what are the most important things we need to know about video and about social media?
Well, it's honestly, it's really simple. It's just do it. I mean, so again, we showed you don't need expensive equipment. I encourage anyone who's scared of video, which is pretty much everyone. I don't think anybody's not scared of it when they come out of the gate, is to use the tips like I'm giving out right now via my series, which are just integrated into your business plan. You're already doing all these things. You're already sending thank yous. You're already cold prospecting. You're all doing all these things. Just shift it to a video. And then the more you get comfortable with that, the more you will start shifting your mindset on other things. Like I literally go throughout my days and think to myself, ooh, I need a video of that. A perfect example, I have a 15-year-old. She's got her driver's permit. The first time she went out, I was like, ooh, I'm going to video. This will be good. And sure enough, it was hilarious. And I videoed a good minute of it and posted. It was just humanizing, but it was great. And it got 1,000 views. And people were like, that was hilarious. Thank you for sharing. You just got to shift your mindset and capture video when you otherwise didn't used to, and just make it a part of your life. And then which then becomes a part of your business, which becomes a part of your brand, which will blow you up. And then again, leverage the heck out of social media. There's so much opportunity. It is a job. It's a part-time job, but you know, I lay in bed at night a lot of times when I should be reading my book, and instead I'm reading social media. But what I'm really doing is I'm just studying. I'm watching the people that I want to be like. So there's good, you know, you always say, surround yourself with the people that, you know, the five, you know the saying, you are the sum of. And so I do that. I use that in social media, and I follow probably 5 to 10 people that consistently show up on my feed because I intentionally put them there because I'm liking their stuff, and I follow them and I repurpose their stuff. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I have some of my own original stuff, but for the most part, it's just repurposed, and I just spin it to be my own. That's all you have. This isn't rocket science. You just have to do it and use it, and you will totally shift your business. You will shift your brand. You will elevate it. You will skyrocket. There's no doubt about it.
I love it. All right, Brian and Cherie, your final thoughts as we wrap up, and then we're going to get Jeff's contact information after that.
You know, I stepped all over you. I'll go first. So basically, my final thought is just do it, and that's really what it comes down to. And that's why you wanted to go first. But here's my one tip, and it's a pretty simple one: is if you don't know what the heck to do, go out and find somebody. If you're in California, go find somebody in Colorado. If you're in Colorado, find somebody in New York and steal their content. And I hate to be that way, but steal something from somebody. If you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, watch something that Jeff did, repurpose it. And again, don't say the exact words, but just tweak it a little bit and, you know, go steal something from somebody else, but ultimately just do it.
So I was going to say just do it, but then Brian stole it. So
Sorry.
I will tell people that one trick that I did use is that I created a separate private Facebook group that the only person that's in it is Leonard, who's my husband, and it's titled Cherie's Lives, and that's it. And so I did that so that I can get myself comfortable with how did I look versus the first time, you know, and we didn't say anything. I didn't talk about anything. I just wanted to hear what my voice sounded like and see what I looked like so I could mentally get over that. So that is a tip for people who have never done that before, is that Facebook has it to where you can create that type of private group. It's a secret group, so no one else can find it except for that one person that you have that's in there. I've got a couple of coaching clients that are very nervous to do this, and this is what I've had them do also, is just try that, see how it looks, and then immediately after that, Brian, then you just do it.
That is fantastic advice, Cherie. I love that. And then what I would add to that, one of the things it's not just a parting thought, it's just something I think we ought to be thinking about. To do what Brian said, to kind of rip off and duplicate what other people are doing, the easiest way to do that is when you're listening to a webinar, you're listening to a video or a podcast or whatever, just take notes on what's being said, and then use those notes as your outline for you teaching it, right? If you're just taking bullet points, you teaching it, now it's in your own words, but you've got the outline to kind of go off of. Makes it really, really easy to just kind of do your thing. So anyway, that being said, Jeff, we've got to run. Tell us really quick, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
Best place to do it is do exactly what I just told you. Go follow me on Facebook, become my friend. I can put you in pages if you want to be there. Follow me on YouTube. That's the next place to be, if it's not already. If you want to call me, feel free. My personal cell phone is 314-220-4945. My email is my last name, Pfitzer @usa-mortgage.com. Happy to help anybody anytime.
Love it. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you posting some fun stuff in the Club Wealth Real Estate Agent Mastermind group as well. And thank you very much for being on with us today. Brian and Cherie, as always, thank you guys very, very much. Remember, everybody, inside you, there is a world-class beast just dying to get out. You got to choose to unleash that beast, though. And it might just happen to start with a Facebook Live video. So give it a shot. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.